Well, Evan, you know, all eyes in Ottawa were trained on a centre block committee room yesterday as Rahim Jaffer and his business partner made their first public appearance since crazy allegations, unbelievable allegations, influence peddling and drug use amongst them had been raised in the media. The question on Point of Order today, Scott, is sideshow atmosphere in Ottawa for sure, but did we learn anything new?
Oh, plenty. You know, listen, I think we should start to give away some awards for ridiculous, crazy political performances, incoherent political performances. Let's call them the Duffies. I think the first one goes to Rahim himself, who thought that the Conservatives had his back. Sorry, pal. Get the memo. They're not with you. His business partner gets a Duffy because he showed up unaware of the process, unconcerned that he was torching what remains of his partner's reputation. But the big Duffy, so to speak, really goes to Pat Martin. He puts the WTF in the NDP, moved a motion calling Rahim Jaffer, then said, let's withdraw that motion. It could turn into a circus. Then spent his time asking questions about cocaine use, about breaking the law, calling the guy a liar. Was insane. Pat, what are you thinking?
I can't even imagine what it must be like to be Rahim and Helena right now. Obviously, it's a very tough time, humiliating position for both of them. Yeah. Given their time for public life, the accusations have been made, that's a bad day at the office for both. Prime Minister did the right thing. He referred them to the Ethics Commissioner, the RCMP, and they're going to decide what's going to happen. And you know what? Let's let the chips fall where they may. We don't live in a banana republic. We actually have some process, and they're going to do the right thing. What was horrifying about yesterday was what's built on by the media and the tabloid journalism in the media, followed by an abuse of parliamentary privilege yesterday. That diminishes everybody.
I understand why the committee wanted them there. I understand why the media wanted them there. I don't understand why Rahim Jaffer wanted to be there. All right. Michael Ignatieff has gone back to the gun registry. He says he wants to amend the way that it works, and then he's going to vote against the Conservative proposals. Jamie, I got a simple question for you. Is this smart politics? Is he getting a wedge formed here?
Like, am I the only guy that sees an irony in the king that can't shoot straight wanting to talk about gun control? Or is this about, Scott, is this about Iggy, you know, turning his back not just on rural Canada, but on rural Canadian values, you know? Talk about a Johnny-come-lately approach to politics. You know, the last time he tried to whip a vote, it didn't work out so well for him. Remember that time? They voted for the government and against their own motion. And now the brain trust from Rosedale has picked an obscure backbench bill to bring it forward. What happened in the last session of the legislature? Keith Martin and Wayne Easter voted against it. They're going to do it again. You're not going to be able to find a bookie in this country that says this is going to work out this
Jamie,
time.
Only one of us at this table actually belongs to a family that has a hunting camp. So don't talk to me about rural Canada and rural values and how we're writing them off, okay? You know what? Michael Ignatieff is taking a position that makes a lot of sense. He knows that he has a challenge with caucus, so he's making a change to the policy to say, let's make certain that we can keep caucus together, and then let's turn this thing on the Conservatives. And you know why? Because he can count on guys like Gary Breitkreitz to come forward and say, oh, when the cops say they want the registry, they're just bought and paid for by the Liberals. Oh, let's beat Michael Ignatieff black and blue. Oh, there's a gracious opinion.
For sure, that was a dumb thing to say. Come on,
stupid with both barrels. The problem for the Conservatives is this. They think that this is about maladministration. It has long since passed. People don't like the idea of saying no to cops, and that's what the Conservatives are doing.
Next up on Point of Order, there he was, the matinee idol himself, sexy Max Bernier, in the limelight again, this time out there telling Quebecers, his fellow Quebecers, that they were a bunch of spoiled school children. Scott, tough love, something else? What's up?
On s'en fiche, which is French for I couldn't give a rat's derriere. You know, seriously, Maxim Bernier, the guy is out there sort of campaigning for the next Conservative leadership. He is a candidate in his mind only. There was a poll this week that said that if Stephen Harper should step from behind his anti-access to information protection chamber there in the Prime Minister's office, Maxim Bernier doesn't register. Now, look. I like watching someone take a cane to the chattering classes in Quebec who are all satisfied with themselves as much as the next guy. But this guy is too right-wing for Quebec, too right-wing for this Conservative Party. And you know what? Nature abhors a vacuum, but politics doesn't. And this guy is a big vacuum. Listen, he's not a serious person.
Listen, it's the worst-kept secret in Ottawa that he wants another job. He wants a job that's going to build on his capacity, use his skills, take advantage of his experience, leverage his charisma. And you know what? The connection he's got from Canadians from coast to coast to coast. But Scott, you've got it 100% wrong. He ain't going after Stephen Harper's job, the job he's desperate for. He wants to be the next star in the next episode of The Bachelor on CBC. That's the job that he's after, and that's the job that he's auditioning for.
He's giving a red rose to Jean Charest. I'm sorry, you will have to go home. Look, I really genuinely think this guy is a sideshow, and he's actually not helping himself, he's hurting himself. All right, finally, prediction time. Jamie, it's Earth Day. Or, as they call it in the Prime Minister's office, screw the Earth Day. So here's my question for you.
Where's your green shirt
today,
for Earth Day?
Oh, I've got green underwear on now. Always do, though. Here's my question for you. 1 year from today, will this government finally have a green plan, a climate change plan that is actually making results? Because they've talked about it for 4 times running now.
Scott, I was once asked what my favorite thing in the ocean was. And as a conservative, I said an offshore oil drilling rig.
Yeah, bingo. Yeah.
All kidding aside, what you're going to see a year from now is continued action on a Made in Canada solution. You're going to see continued action on clean technology projects like the $8.4 million funding they have. You're going to see a continued reduction, 2% year over year since 2008 in greenhouse gases. You're going to see continued cooperation on low carbon projects like you do with the United States. And you're going to see all of this accomplished. All of it accomplished in a year from now without one scintilla of assistance or help from the Green Power Corporation.
Jamie, it goes to show you, yes, I see. It goes to show you how confusing the conservative message on the environment is. You were using the Made in Canada talking points. Buddy, that was Plan 2. That was a long time ago. They did away with that. Now they're tied themselves to the U.S. So it's no longer Made in Canada. It's made in Obama's White House. That's their green plan. Of course, that's disingenuous as well because they don't intend to do it. What's the record of this government? 4 climate change plans, no action on climate change. What's the record of this government?
A balanced plan that keeps jobs and the economy
scientists
together.
who had the nerve to speak out against climate change. This government's got nothing to say on Earth Day.
Listen, that's the time we've got, Evan, for Point of Order this week. We'll be back in 7 days. 4 new topics. 4 more times I'll be right, and Scotty, 4 more times you'll be wrong.
And I'm Scott Reed. We'll see you next week, Evan.